Hey. Hey, just checking for the good sound, the right sound, the real sound. Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and those of you who are in the diaspora, good morning. Hey folks, be sure to share the live, tag up your friends. This gonna be just a quick chat. We're gonna delve a little deeper into this leadership debacle that we find ourselves in. What pan confusion. If you're hearing me loud and clear, give me some thumbs up in the comment section. Sandra Allen, good morning to you as well, darling. Jen, good morning, darling. Yeah, man, tag somebody. If you know somebody who and then now walk and they like to chat a little politics, tag them. This is a very special cut of Let's Get Real. And don't forget the show coming up on Sunday. This coming Sunday is going to be a very interesting conversation. It's going to be about the way forward post-COVID. How do we get all sectors of the economy up and running? And more specifically so, tourism and entertainment. I have some very, very special guests lined up for you. And I think I can tell you who they are at this point in time. Dr. Garfield Alexander, you know him. Miss Julie Charles, you know her as well, and Miss Desi Brown. They will be our three specially invited guests for this coming Sunday's edition of Let's Get Real. Yeah, I want the numbers to look a little bit more healthy before I kick this thing out because I don't want anybody to miss anything. I mean, you can probably go back and check it out, look at it, but still, I want you to get it firsthand. So this morning, it's about leadership. Leadership matters. Harris again. Douglas forever. Shawn next. Who is really going to lead this country coming out of the next general election? Depending on who you love politically, you may have your own views, but I want to break it down for those people who are not so hands-on when it comes to the politics. Just to give you a little overview of what we're dealing with. And I don't think the skipper over in Nevis Toy he had to doing when it come to this Hassan Donkey race for Prime Minister in St. Kitts and Nevis. So tag up somebody. Let's go. It's the morning, baby. Hope you've had your breakfast or your tea or your coffee. Whatever it is that you partake of in the morning. Hey, let me just take some time out and big up my buddy Steven on this instrumental. As a matter of fact, this instrumental that we're playing right now, that's our theme song for Let's Get Real. And it was locally produced right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The saxophone that you're hearing in the background, that was done by a Nigerian student who is here getting his medical studies on. So we want to thank those guys for this marvelous production. It's sexy. I love it. I hope you love it too. All right, people. I think we can lick off this thing, and get started with our little discussion here about leadership. Once again, let me just say good morning to everybody. Uh, this is my morning feels by. But welcome. See you, boy. Oh my God. Yeah, I had to slurp up that there just to give a little vibes. But yeah, let me talk about this leadership thing now. Bringing those of you who are not up to speed on what's going on right now. So there has been talk about who will be the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. As most of you who are following on social media are well aware, that leading up to the 2015 elections, when you had three parties coming together to form one coalition to take down the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party in St. Kitts and the NRP coalition. It was a coalition between NRP and Labour, but Labour was the stronghold party of that coalition. So those three parties came together with an agreement. Coming out of that, Dr. Harris would have been appointed the leader of that three-party coalition, and thus he would become the Prime Minister. Also in that agreement, it was agreed to that the Prime Minister would serve 2 terms going forward, right? Because they ran on a campaign that Douglas was in there for too long. I mean, the man was the leader of the Labour Party from since 1989, I think it is. Somebody could correct me in the comment section if I got that incorrect. So, we're looking for information here this morning, getting our facts lined up and straight. Sometimes things get a little bit skewed sometimes. But anyhow, so that was Tim said he want to make sure that they tape us properly. Well, tape me the man. And when I could put it up on your page, them tape me. And tape me good. Cause I ain't gonna get what I think I gonna get this morning. Cause you see, a sunny point me fam. So anyhow, don't disturb me again, Tim. You relax yourself there. Just a little bit. So the agreement was that Dr. Harris would serve 2 terms as the Prime Minister. Douglas was there too long. The man leading the party since 1989. He led the Labour Party in government as the Prime Minister for near 20 years. I think he was up to 18 going on 20, right? And today he's still the leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. Now, what was supposed to happen is that they were supposed to pass a piece of legislation in the Parliament that would limit the terms of the Prime Minister to 2. So you got 10 years, because each term is 5 years, right? So you would get 2 terms, 10 years as the Prime Minister. That was the agreement. If you were paying attention also, you would have heard coming out of the recent conventions of both the PAM and the PLP that somehow Dr. Harris is supposed to get a 3rd term. Thus, the gentleman or the woman or the ghost or the donkey, whatever it is behind the page, 3rd term Tim, or Tim 3rd term. Leading up to the convention, this Facebook page came on stream and was pushing for Dr. Harris to get a 3rd term. So he would serve 15 years as the Prime Minister, right? So the PLP convention, remember the woman from Trinidad who come here and talk about we have a galloping dictatorship here, talking about Dougie. Now we're going to get to Dougie, but we ain't going to talk about Dougie yet, because I may want to get some people all riled up too quick and so early in the morning, because when you talk about Dougie, some people are wax. But anyhow, she come and she say, we have a galloping dictatorship here, Mind you, she come from all the way Trinidad to tell her that day, you know, when we live here and we could see what going on. But anyhow, she come back again, this time around, during COVID. How she get in the country, nobody know. How long she spent in quarantine, nobody know. But she come on a stage at the PLP convention to tell us that because of Dr. Harris's stellar performance, he should be left as the Prime Minister after they already made an agreement that he only gonna serve 2 terms. Now, the first person to throw out that piece of bait to see and feel how the general populace in St. Kitts and Nevis would take it was Patches Libert. Patches came on and said, and he threw out debate. What about Dr. Harris for a 3rd term? You know? And then in grand style, the Facebook page, Tim 3rd Term, started attacking members of the same unity coalition. What kind of unity that there be? And then you saw members of the PLP who are very vocal on social media attacking members of unity, namely Shawn Richards, who is supposed to be next in line, and who, by the way, let me give you a little background about Shawn Richards. Shawn Richards came up against a very strong Labour Party at the time when Jacinth Henry Martin was the representative for number 5. Now, Sunny Point people, them days a different breed of people. Eh? When you see they fed up or something, they fed up. So, they voted Jacinth Henry Martin. Jacinth Henry Martin, according to the people of Sandy Point, she ain't represent well. She probably represent well on a federal front, and that is up for a little bit debate. But in terms of looking for the people of Sandy Point and associating with them, they felt as though, and mind you, I'm just reporting, they felt as though she was not present enough in the constituency. And so when Shawn came around, representing the PAM, they decide, well, Jacinth, it's time for you to go. And so Shawn came to power. He won his seat. All right? And he was there representing Sandy Point. Now, while he was there, Lindsey Grant was the leader of the PAM. PAM could not make note one, nor dent in this thing. All right? Lindsey Grant tried and he tried. Oh, he tried and tried again. But he couldn't move the PAM. All right? Anyhow, Shawn became leader. And when Shawn became leader, you could see where new life, a new zest, and new vibes went into PAM. And Shawn was able, as the leader, a leader that they did not want, because if you listen to Chesley Hamilton, when I had him on at one point, talking about how the elite fraction in the PAM party, and let me tell you people out there something if you don't already know, there is a group of people in this federation who have become or have been millionaires because of their affiliations and their business ties to these political parties, both around PAM and Labour, right? And those people, once they get them kind of money, they feel as though they're in charge of everything and everybody, and things should always go their way to align with their financial interests. And so, according to Chesley Hamilton, not according to me, according to Chesley Hamilton, a lot of the PAM elites didn't want Shawn because Shawn ain't rich. Shawn was a poor little boy from up Crab Hill. And how dare he come around to lead this party? But anyhow, he became the leader. and he brought new life to the PAM. Now, you could take it for what it is, take it for what it means, and see if what I'm saying holds some, viable vibes. Rambo says more PAM people in Sandy Point got land under her, though. Rambo, that is true. When you talk about the land distribution in St. Kitts and Nevis, Labour holds that hands down. More people got land and houses under Labour. It was a revolution, right? Because the elites didn't think that poor people deserve them kind of things. But you know what the Labour Party was birthed out of? The struggle of the ordinary people coming out of slavery, post-slavery, right? So, that is the history. So, Shawn now is the leader of PAM, alright? We move along. So, Shawn now commands, let me see how much seats now. Number 5, number 4, number 8. That's what? 3 seats? And until Patches was fired 5 times from the same job, they held 4. Right? So, in Parliament right now, out of the 3 parties that commands a 9-2 ratio in Parliament, PAM has 3 seats, CCM has 3, which is 6, PLP has 2. Right? I think that's the score. That they add up? Let me do it. 1, 2, 3, 6, and 2. That's 8. Where did the other one come from? I remember. Anyhow. So, if you look at it, Labour only has 2 seats in Parliament. Dr. Jeffrey Hanley and the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas. Right? 2. Okay. You help me out with the maths here just in case I miss anything. Right? Because this is the morning and I still groggy. I don't usually be up them kind of jumpy time here. Normally up by 11 o'clock. But I just wanted to get up to get this conversation out of the way. Oh, yes, and John L. Powell. So we have John L. Powell, Shawn Richards, Hamilton, and Lindsey Grant. So they have 4. Right. Thank you for that. Who's that? I can't call her name. Why do you really call herself on? Oh, Madam Wanted. All right. So, PAM has 4 seats. Right? No. I'm glad you mentioned John L. Powell. Remember, John L. Powell came in, and every time he ran against Marcella in Central, every time he increased his margin. Right? And I said to somebody, the next time around, John L. gonna win. Because you see where he was steadily increasing. Right? But, me went to college. I just a fat little boy from Sandy Point, so nobody take me on. And you have what you have. Now, when I talk the way I talk, Labour people get upset, PAM people get vexed, and PL people get vexed. So, I don't know, but I just stating the facts as the facts are. Numbers don't lie unless somebody thief or cheat. But at the end of the day, the results are what the results are. Under Shawn, as the leader, PAM was able to go from 1 seat to now having 4. And if Patches didn't lose over in the East, in number 1, they would have got 5. The math's right? Let me do it again. John L. in Central, Lindsey Grant in 4, Shawn in 5, Hamilton in 8. Right? And if Patches didn't lose, PAM would have got 5 seats. Now, if you're looking at just winnings, just take it for what it is, numbers, winnings. Shawn, as the leader of PAM, was able to get PAM from where they had only one seat, because he won, you know. He won his seat, and he took Pam as the leader from having one seat in Parliament up to 5 seats. Bear that in mind, right? And this is where some Labour people gonna get vexed now, because we come to the Labour side of things now. Well, no, first of all, go to the Labour side, let me go to the PLP side of things. Kimbella says Sandy Point seem to got all the land, cause when I carry a farm, they're saying they're not taking them cause no land there. Okay, Kimbella, that's a different story. Tim Turtum says, Ike, that's a lie. Partner, I mean, I study you right now. You just attack, and you don't make no sense. Pam was able to pay for the other seats thanks to those who sold their votes. Our ancestors are rolling in their graves. Man, about the semantics. I must tell you that. Me ain't about the semantics. The end result. Because unless we're going to change the system that we have here, the Westminster system, the way how elections are done, unless we plan to change that as a people, we can't argue about who sell the vote and who ain't sell the vote, because that's an entirely different conversation we could possibly have. So let me just stay on point for the time being about who buy votes and who planes ain't come in and all this. Yeah. Let me just forget those semantics and just look at the end results and look at the numbers. Let's just stay focused. Don't run away. Let's stay focused. So Pam went from 1 to 5 under Shawn. You talk about leadership. Now you could attribute that to the leader, or you could attribute that to whatever. The fact of the matter is, he, as the captain, took the party from 1 to 5. Right? Let me go now to Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris was a Labour in the Labour government for the near 20 years leading up to 2015, from 5 to 2015. He was a minister of the Labour government. He defected. For whatever reason, they said Douglas wasn't listening, Douglas was this and Douglas was that, and it was time for him to take up the mantle and be the leader. Douglas was there too long. That was the argument. Sam Kanda agree with him. So, motion and no confidence, and we all know how that they went. Me ain't going back to that day again, because me ain't got all morning here with all you. But anyhow, 2015, Douglas lost the elections. Whether the plane they may come, or the plane they may come, the results are what the results are. Douglas lost the elections. Labour lost. Right? So, unity came to power. Timothy with his 1 seat, the Pam with theirs, and CCM brought theirs. I think at the time CCM had 2. It was 2-1. NRP had 1 seat and CCM had 2. Up to 2020, we all know how 2020 went now. CCM increased and won all 3 federal seats on the Matt Brantley. Alright? Timothy Harris also increased his seats in Parliament, where he was able to get Akila into Parliament. She won big in a number 3, right? So he now got 2 seats. Still the leader of Unity, as they all agreed that he would be 2. But for some strange reasons, for whatever those reasons are, you can't deny the fact that they were able to convince the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that they are the better options. Whatever those reasons are, it's up to people. But they were successful in their PR to tell people that Douglas was the devil and that they should be the ones to lead this country. And they get it done. And so, coming out of the 2020 elections, the score, Labour dropped from having that amount of seat and that amount of command in this country down to only 2 seats. Douglas won his seat in number 6. And Jeffrey Hanley, by the skin of his teeth, won in East Bastille. You know, we had the court cases, them, ATT, both, what happened. But when the dust settled, he won. So, Labour got 2. So, call it for what it is. Douglas lost 2 elections back to back as the leader of Labour. Now, we could talk about Douglas. And we could talk about his history. And we could talk about his accomplishment for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We could talk about his regional accomplishments. When you look at how people with HIV/AIDS are living now, fuller and better lives because of how Douglas and his colleagues, I think it was Bill Clinton, were able to reduce the price of antiretrovirals so that people with HIV/AIDS and other ailments associated with that virus and disease were able to afford the drugs to keep them alive and live full lives, even after they would have contracted this quote-unquote deadly virus. Douglas did that. If you look at the socio and economic movement of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, from one type of lifestyle to an next, Douglas and Labour did that. If you look at how St. Kitts progressed on the world stage, Douglas did that. The man brilliance, his savvy, the respect he has, the love he had for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, he ultimately did that. Now, we could go down to the nitty-gritty of all these things, but as I said before, we are not here for that. We're going to do that in a different show. But this morning, we just want to talk about the leaderships and what they have done in terms of moving their parties and getting their parties viable. You could even talk about Mark Brantley, what he was able to do over in Nevis, winning elections by landslides after landslides after landslides. These are just the facts. For whatever the reasons are, well, those are up for debate. But at the end of the day, these men were able to move their respective parties from one point to the next. So right now, Shawn, as the leader of PAM, was able to move PAM from where it was wilderness, not doing anything, not being viable, to now the strongest party in Parliament, holding 4 seats. Now, the next elections, I hope me internet ain't sticky. Look so. It looks so, people. But anyhow, we're moving right along. If you take into consideration the score of these leaderships, I would simply ask you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, because there is rumblings now, and you could hear it in the ear, you get the reports back and forth that people are saying that, number one, Dr. Harris should be or should continue as the leader of Team Unity. See, right now, even under this live, the fake Facebook profile, Tim Third Term, or whatever it is, steady abusing Shawn, steady abusing Mark Brantley, and propping up Timothy. Mind you, they're now doing what they told us was wrong for Douglas to do and for Douglas to be engaged in. Listen to it carefully, Look at what is happening. When there was rumblings that Douglas would be the supreme leader, the 10 man in one, they were saying that was wrong. He need to move out of the way, serve his time, and go. But now, these very same people coming around, Linus Charles said, well, EK, you just come well dressed for these lives. I love it. Friend, if I tell you the honest to God truth, you wouldn't believe it. But anyhow, so now you come full circle, and the very people who told you that a leader wanting to go on and on and on and on is wrong are now the very people who are now coming and telling you that because somebody is so good or was so good leading, that they should continue into leadership. That's why Shawn had to say down in the PAM convention that just like how you became the representative for Tabernacle, I wanted to become the representative for Sandy Point. Just like how you became the leader of PLP, I became the leader of PAM. Just like how you became prime minister, I want to become prime minister as well. That was the agreement. Now, if you can't stand by your words, then what good are you as a man? And so this notion that is being pushed out there that Tim should be the prime minister for another term. So wait, when I said that Douglas was 10 man in one and he alone was running the government, you're trying to tell me that no, the man who said that was wrong, come full circle, and now he alone is running the government now, and he alone is making all the great decisions for saying it's to be where it is, financially, economically, and otherwise. So he is the supreme leader now after Douglas. People, I'm just putting things into perspective here for you, so that you will have a clear understanding of how these politicians think and how they move. Now they accuse Douglas of acquiring a lot of wealth. Man and Man even sing song about Douglas going into real estate. What Timothy into now? Not saying that a man can invest his money and get business. That said that was wrong for Douglas. But now look, all of them man come now and doing the exact same thing. So I would be interested to find out what will be the campaign slogan, what would be the push, what would be the basis of their campaigning going into 2025. Because everything that they said Douglas did wrong, them man now doing it the exact same thing and even worse. Depending on your political affiliation, of course. Because if you're supporting them, you probably won't see it because you love them to death. So anything that they do, anything that they say, you will stand by it because it's your party and it's your leader. But if you look at it objectively, if you look at it with honest eyes, you would see them do the exact same thing. And this morning I was listening to one of my counterparts in Trinidad, Star Entertainment, who is only 28, and he made the point that every election cycle, all these politicians, they come out and they tell you how corrupt each other are, how thief one another be, how loyal and bad everyone them be. But you know what never happens? None of them ever get arrested and ever go to jail. You realize it? The amount of money that they tell you one another thief, you would think that somebody would be in jail, but nobody go to jail. Nobody going jail. Think about it, you know. Even around the rest of the Caribbean islands, every election cycle, they tell you how corrupt and thief one another be. But they never lock up one another. But you take up something off your job and see if police not come with you. Well, how come police don't go with them? And then when you say that politics is in the police forces around the region, man and manners get vexed and they say, oh, you can't say that. You are degrading the institution. You're disrespecting the institution. But how come no police never investigated, never lock up, never charge no politician for thieving? And all them make the accusation, but how come nobody make the report? Think, people. You see, recently, something show up on Facebook about two young ladies who on the PEP and they receive monies for customs and the pictures being blasted about the place, named and shamed. We had a situation just like that with two politicians them. And they called it misappropriation. Very nice word. Just a little simple misappropriation. Then I call it thief. Then I call it swindle. Then I call it embezzlement. Then I call it none of them nasty words. Just a little misappropriation. I mean, what is a little misappropriation amongst, professional people and politicians? What is a little misappropriation? With these two young ladies, they misappropriate. Look at the big scandal what happened in what you call it, the police credit union. You see all these people were named and shamed. Some of them done went up in front of a judge. You ever see any politician stand up in front of a judge and give an account for the monies where his colleagues say that he thief? No. And you ain't gonna see it neither. So while we out here poppy showing we sell for them, they're busy getting rich, knocking glasses, traveling the world, and we out here poppy show we sell for them. That is why in the last election, a lot of people decide, me just voting just so you got to pay for me vote. Because these people give us the bare minimum. The bare minimum. Things that are supposed to be automatic, they're taking praise for. And in the meantime, their friends, families, and close associates raking in millions. Not hundreds of thousands, people. Millions. Out of we taxpayers' money. You see, every time you go to the port to clear something, or customs to clear something, I apologize, I have a little chest cold here trying to get rid of. No, it's not corona. So, you see, every time you go to the port to clear something, you see the kind of monies where you're spending up there? Because everything that you buy, you have to buy it 2 and 3 times. Because if you purchase it overseas, you buy it in US. So, you have to work 2.70 or 2.71 times harder to make that. And then when you finally make that and you bring it into customs, you're looking at another 53 point something percent, plus 17%, plus something else and plus something else. It's tax pan tax. You hear? So you don't pay that at customs. You then turn around and try to sell it. And you now got to go pay tax on it again. And that's where our money don't come from. That's where the man could give a man a contract who cut some road and pay him $70,000, $80,000. And look at it, it's the close affiliates. Remember at the top of the show, I tell you that there are some people in this country who have gotten filthy rich, stinking rich, in the millions from their government being in power. No, don't get me wrong. If you do work, you gotta get paid. And I all for that. Me no grudge nobody for the money where they make. Don't get me wrong. But what is on the back end of that? It's campaign finances. If you put enough money into particular people around you in the community when it's time for elections, these quote-unquote businessmen spring into action. And they start to pay for things. Whether it's to pay a DJ, whether it's to pay a trucking service, whether it's to pay a lighting service, a hairdresser, a caterer, whoever it is. That is what that money is being used to do. If all you didn't know, I tell you now, you know. And if you think that that's the end of it, you lie. Because if I give my good friend, third term Tim, a contract, mind you, the true price of the work is $80,000. But third term Tim, on here right now, is put it in an invoice for $100,000. Mind you, the work itself, everything for the work costs $80,000 to do. But you get an invoice for $100,000. Where you think that extra $20,000 going? Just take a wild guess. And that's just $20,000. If you're looking at a contract for, let's say, $5 million. If you break it down and you look at it, probably the work would cost about maybe 2.5 or maybe even $3 million. So where is the extra $2 million going? I'm just asking questions. Where you think that money is going? People, let me tell you something, right? You see third term Tim here under the comment section. He is being paid handsomely for what he's doing right now. Starting this fake Facebook page and coming in here up and down on the everybody post, bantering to you, making all kind of wild comments that Timothy should be the prime minister for a third term because he had a good conversation with the taxi association. Give him a third term because he had a good conversation with the taxi association. Give him a third term because he had a good conversation with the food vendors. Yeah, just give him a third term because of those things. Mind you, the taxi association, they were put out of work, so to speak, by this government. Because in this dispensation, you could be self-employed and still get fired from the government. This is how far-reaching the government is. The system that we have, this is how far-reaching it is. The Westminster style. But none of these politicians want to change that because it works well for them. They maintain their control, they maintain their money, and that is what they ultimately want. While giving you a little bit of crumbs along the way. So, he's being paid to come and tell you. Oh, he said, we need money to pay people like you to help campaign for Dr. Harris. Amen. Because we ain't going to do it for free. I promise you that. I promise you that. And I wouldn't encourage anybody to campaign for any politician for free just because you love them. No. Don't do that crap. Your time is valuable. Your skills and talents are valuable. Don't do it. Don't do it for free. Hear me and hear me well. Don't do it for free. Because these men making some serious money, you know. But anyhow, let me get back to the conversation because I'm ranting now. So, this little morning, don't do it for free. Millions of dollars is out there circulated. We have some millionaires in St. Kitts and Nevis, you know, out of the treasury. Me not ask you, me tell you. And this is why they don't like when I talk. Because when I talk straight and plain. And me not rant and you see right now how they got Japan? That try to make Japan seem like he crazy. Japan ain't doing nothing that he ain't accustomed to do. Which is to call out wrong. Which is to criticize the government that is going on a wrong road. Japan ain't doing nothing out of the ordinary, you know. Just like how Japan talking now, that's exactly how we talk about Douglas. With the ranting and the raving and the antics, that's Japan. But guess what? third term Tim saying that Jupan shouldn't be talking because Jupan can't keep a wife. Well, who could keep any woman? You come and talk about Tim Jupan can't keep a wife, and that are you go to, that are you MO to bring down somebody on the personal level just because they talk about what's going on wrong in this country. Instead of fixing the wrongs, instead of coming to the people and say, look, okay, we heard, guide us. Instead of doing that, what are you do? I put monies and efforts into smearing who's ever talking. Because they try it with me, and I line them up one time. Line them up one time. Well, who in this country never lose a woman, never get bite, never divorce? Somehow we never even married. And somehow we a man unlike man. So who is anybody to talk about anybody's personal life as a defense for them pointing out something that is wrong with the damn system? I apologize. Who is anybody to come and talk about that? Can't keep a wife. Who could keep a wife? Who could keep any man? Remember, they said Douglas should not be the prime minister because he married Sylvine Henry. Now today, they want us to hold on to Timothy, want us to hold on to Shawn, and none of the two of them married. We ain't even know who they're with. At least we know that according to the Calypsonian, Dougie used to date with Kia, and Dougie used to date with some other woman, and he date with some other woman, and so the woman where they said to drive the church bus, me remember, saw here, me don't know how to be. But at least we could have tied Dougie to a woman. So to use these kind of tactics that somebody's personal life, what's happening in somebody's personal life, exempts them from talking about what is going on wrong in your country. I mean, are you sick? Third term Tim, nobody even know who the hell you be. Cause you hide behind a fake profile. So you're supposed to be the least, and just now we're going to block you off of my page because you're not talking nothing of substance. So let me look at it now. Let me get back to the leadership vibes. Exactly what they said Douglas was doing wrong, they're now doing. And I'm hearing, I don't know how true it be, that Douglas looking to get returned in the Labour convention in November as the leader of Labour. And here's where the Labour people ain't going to get vexed now. Because I was on a show this week, Issues, and a gentleman from the United States called in to chastise me for allowing Austin Edinburgh to go on an entire rant about Douglas being removed, or Douglas stepping down rather, as the leader of Labour. Right? And they say that I shouldn't have allowed Austin to talk about Douglas the way he did. And it has to be that I'm in agreement with Austin Edinburgh. And he went on to chastise me even further. And I let him talk, because that's what I do. Me, E.K., Maurice Flanders, don't have a problem with listening to people. Listening is what I do. Because when you listen and you process, you can understand where people are going and where people are coming. And you won't get fooled that easily. Somehow I don't like listen. I only like listen to myself. And that's why I find myself in a lot of problems. Me, I like to listen. I like to listen to every word that somebody said. I hang on to every word. And I watch them dead in their face. And I listen. So I sat there and I listened. Because I wanted to understand where he was coming from. And when I understood where he was coming from, I could have responded to him. He went on further to stating unequivocally that there is no other person within the Labour Party that could lead the Labour Party. How damn disrespectful of you, sir. You're trying to tell me that Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, who is a leader in his community, who have assisted so many, who is a man of God, with a wife and children, you're trying to tell me that Dr. Jeffrey Hanley can't lead Labour? You're trying to tell me that Dr. Drew, who is a leader in his community, everybody know me, a leader in his community, you're trying to tell me that the Labour Party is so complicated, is so big, that Dr. Drew can't lead Labour? You're trying to tell me that Conwis Maynard, even though he lose his seat up there in number 3, and now we know make he lose his seat, you're trying to tell me that Conwis ain't have the wherewithal to lead Labour? Everybody know where Conwis come from, and everybody know what Conwis is about. But this is the problem that we're going to have in this country, because we like to sow seeds of division. So just because I love Douglas, and just because I respect Douglas, I should piss on somebody else wanting or having the ability to come and to carry on. It's not about replacing, You see, we don't use words and we don't understand the meaning of words. You see, the English is a funny language, And I try to teach and tell people, choose your words carefully, because words have meaning. This is what the politicians do, because the politicians study psychology, So they know what words to use to trigger us and trigger our emotions. And it works if you're the kind of person who has not taken the time to invest in your mental capacity, to invest in bettering yourself as a human being. They prey on that. And so, when somebody's going to say, oh, nobody could replace Douglas. Yes, it's true. But you know why they use the word replace? Because they want you to feel a sense of emotions, that somehow somebody's trying to take something away from Douglas. Somebody's trying to take something away from Timothy Harris. That's why the woman from Trinidad come here and talk about, oh, Dr. Harris was so good, that somehow somebody's trying to take something from him or diminish him in some way. They even went as far as to say that Shawn Richards can lead this country. Well, which one of the prime ministers that we've ever had any experience with leading a country? Where the hell do you go to get that kind of experience? Tell me. And it's the kind of bullshit that they're selling even in the workplace. You want a job at a particular company, you have to have 2 years experience. Where the fuck you gonna get it? So even before they accept you, they're trying to exclude you. EK, why you don't threaten to block Preston Niles? Because Preston Niles don't go around and talk the kind of foolishness that you talk. I don't see where you post about Jupant, And Jupant is my personal friend. He's a mentor. You could even call him a father. Because I grew up in Sandy Point around Jupant, and you disrespected the man. That is what you guys do for political reasons. Or you can't stick to the debate. But anyhow, back to what I was saying. They use certain words to trigger your emotions. Nobody can replace Douglas. And nobody can replace Dr. Harris. And nobody can replace Shawn. In life, it's a relay. And especially when it comes to politics. You take the mantle from one point, bring it to a point, and then somebody takes it from here and carries it on. That is what it should be. That should be the basis of our discussions. Douglas ruled this country for 20 years. Made some significant strides. So did Dr. Simmons, whether you like his politics or not, whether you agree with him or not. He didn't do everything right, but he did something. And so when we get to that political maturity, where we could actually say these things out loud, that is when I can truly start to respect certain people's opinion when it comes to politics. They say, Preston, call me a scunt. By third term, Tim, me not see that there. Only you say so. And if she say it, whoever the Preston person is, or whoever he be, because that's a fake book profile as well. So if he say it and call me a scunt because I said something about Douglas that you don't like, no problem. Then I'm a scunt. But you got to be two even bigger scunt for being here and listening to this scunt. But anyhow, you ain't gonna distract me because you fake. Put on your real name on Facebook and come and have a discussion. You would never do that. So me ain't studying no more. To hell with you. Here what? Nobody could replace anybody. Unless, of course, you're doing shit. Let's just be frank. And so if you want to boil down to the fact that right now, as some people say the country is shit and we should replace Dr. Harris, let's do that. But some people want you to keep him because they love him. And nothing is wrong with that. But you already agreed that you're going to do 2 terms. So why even talk of coming back for a 3rd term? Why even put your agents out there to disrespect Shawn, to disrespect Mark Brantley? And now you're supposed to be a unit. I mean, people are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? Break it down. How could Dr. Harris possibly be the Prime Minister for a 3rd term without the support of PAM and CCM if they were to be successful at the next election? How he gonna even become that? So you don't think that Shawn and Mark Brantley gonna take into consideration the disrespect that they have come under from agents of PLP, that even if Dr. Harris lied on his back or his belly and he beg like a dog, give me 3 terms, you really feel like them people there gonna give he a 3rd term after he ain't come and distance himself from the foolishness what them people on social media do? They say Shawn ain't capable. Well, who was capable? They want to use the psychology in you that, Dr. Harris got a PhD in accounting. Where's Shanga? Shawn right now, next couple of months or so, gonna hold a PhD in accounting as well. You understand? Shawn is a public accountant. You know what you got to do? That's a master's, you know. You know what you got to do to get that? You know how bright you got to be to get that? So only Timothy one bright. Done with the foolishness. And people stop letting these people play on your emotions. That's what they're doing. They want to divide and conquer. Dr. Harris only got 2 seats. 2 seats. You hear shushing that he's feeling other candidates. But how good are they going to be leading up to an election? How good? So even if he got, 4 years now? 4 years? Even if he takes candidates and put them in key positions around the federation, how strong will PLP be in order to be viable for Dr. Harris to become Prime Minister for a 3rd term? Ain't gonna happen. Realistically, he gonna got to take a miracle from God, and God, he said, gonna come down and walk the bubble here. Ain't gonna happen. Could Shawn become the next Prime Minister? Of course, that was the agreement. Mark Brantley ain't in the fray. I mean, I believe he expressed no kind of aspirations to become Prime Minister. And you ain't find his agents on social media pushing the narrative. The only agents out there pushing that narrative for Prime Minister are 2. The PAM fraction and the PLP fraction. They are making cases to become Prime Minister. Now, if things pan out in the Labour Party and Douglas is returned as the leader of Labour after the next Labour convention, tell me, how possible would it be for Labour to win the next election? It's possible. Look at the numbers. The most people voted for a single party is Labour. The popular vote always go to Labour. Always. Whether you want to admit it or not, the popular vote always go to Labour. But because of how the seats are configured, and because of the bubbles them that, they work, padding the voting and all, and mind you, all them accuse one another of this bullshit, And yet still, nobody is doing anything at all to change it. So, it would be interesting to see who comes out as the leader of Labour after next month's convention. Will it be Douglas? Will we have a new leader? Who knows? We just got to wait and see. If you ask me my opinion who I would like it to be, it don't matter to me. Personally, it don't matter to me. I mean, my record is clear as to, my support and my love for Dr. Douglas. Everybody know that. I mean, no mince no words to say that. And everybody knows that I'm the kind of person, it doesn't matter who's the Prime Minister of this country, I want to see them do good. Because I love my country. It's my country first, and then my party. And who wants to look at that as being disloyal? I just think I'm going to do something in the back. Say, you know what? Kids might be watching this. So I'll probably do it in a different forum. But the question is, can the leader of Labour, whoever that person may be, muster up enough energy to revive that party and get them back to where they control a majority of seats in the parliament? Douglas was the leader. Labour lost in 2015. Douglas was the leader. Labour lost in 2020. The score is now 9-2. Is it possible for Douglas to come back as the leader and get the Labour Party rolling and rumbling again against what is happening now in Unity, where Tim want to push for a third term? Shawn said no time at all. We had an agreement. And Mark Brantley over there as the skipper, just waiting in the wings. They ain't saying much. Because he know he probably coming back with his 3 seats. And in politics, Lord, in politics, you never know. Suppose Mark Brantley decide, me ain't going with nobody. And he sits on the opposition benches, which is 3 seats. Lindsey Grant could win in 4 again. But we know Shawn gonna win, is any point. Because we know who the Labour candidate be for down there. Kenny gonna come back? Nobody know. We gotta wait and see. Hamilton? I would make an informed guess and say, if Hamilton runs again in number 8, Hamilton gonna lose. Joe gonna bang him. Yep. I call it. Joe gonna bang him. If Hamilton run again, and I don't think that he will, but if he does, Joe gonna bang him. So Pam gonna lose a seat there. That's just my prediction. I could be wrong, because you never know what could happen in this thing. But based on my observations, Hamilton gonna lose again over in number 8. Number 1. Who gonna go over there go run? Because Patrick just said he gonna make a run too, And men think he gonna bang Jeffrey over there. No time at all. So Patches, don't even bother with it, my lad. Just go tell you something about the place and just cool out yourself. Maybe you're going to bank Jeffrey over there. If Douglas ain't the leader, but he's still a candidate, he going to win in number 6. Ain't nobody going to beat Timothy in number 7. No. Yo, I'll go out on a limb and say that even if you bring the Apostle Paul, or even if you bring Jesus himself, nobody can bank Timothy in number 7. Same goes for number 6. And it looked like it's the same thing in number 7. In number 5, sorry. So, next election, Grant up for a toss. Hamilton up for a toss. So that's 2 PAM seats up for a toss. In number 3, if Conway do he walk, he could probably get back that seat. But if Akila buckle down and she understands what it takes to do it on her own and let nobody sabotage her, she could probably pull it out, depending on who runs in that constituency. That's if the coalition still exists. I mean, it working out well for them, so they just might keep it together long enough for that. But if these people on social media continue to go down the road that they're going on, maybe all them PAM people who let Akila they vote, maybe they might take it back. And if all them PAM people who are a little bit disgruntled right now take back their lent vote from Akila, it just might open the door for Conway to come back in. So you're looking at Conway, Douglas, Dr. Joe, that's 3 so far, and Jeffrey, Dr. Hanley. So Labour looking at 4 seats now as I see it. So if Labour got 4, and Matt Bradley come at down with he 3, and he take into consideration the disrespect that Timothy meeting out to him, because remember he said that he ain't getting what they promised him he was gonna get, the fair share. So if Mark Bradley take all them things into consideration and decide that he ain't going back with no unity, Tim can't come no prime minister again. So third term, Tim, this stupidness where you're going to talk about the people will decide. The people don't vote for the prime minister, the man. If Shawn, as the leader of PAM, wanted to become prime minister after the 2020 election, he could have do it. But he stuck to his word. He stuck to his word. And that, to me, speaks volumes. He stuck to his word. He stuck to the agreement. Because I know there were some rumblings in PAM. Why the hell we going back with Timothy again? We don't see how he go. He and Douglas are chalk and cheese. That's their thinking, eh? Not saying that's how we do it. Eh? And so, if Shawn wanted to, all he had to do strike a deal with Mark Brantley. And Timothy would have been in the opposition. Benches are relegated to a regular minister. But Shawn stuck to his word. And look at what Timothy did to him. Exactly what he did to Douglas. So that's a lot of things to consider when you're talking about this third term foolishness. You allowed your guest speaker to come in and to give a speech, literally diminishing, disrespecting any kind of contributions you could have possibly made to this country. Because she ultimately said that neither Shawn, nor Mark, nor Douglas, nor nobody for that matter could lead this country other than Timothy Harris. Imagine that. Imagine that. Right? Lord, even twitching in my seat now. Imagine that. She come here to tell us. First she tell us that Douglas was a galloping dictatorship. That was the worst dictator I've ever seen in my life. Because this is a man who sat and stayed focused. Didn't even get to the point where he was malicious towards certain people for talking about him and doing what he wanted to do. Remember the man stand up in a meeting up the village and said to Sam, whatever it is I do you, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But she come back here to tell us, not Shawn, not Mark Brantley, nobody else but Tim could do it. But that the same thing then I said Dougie was doing. 10 man in one, only he one could run the country. When he go away, he now left nobody in charge. But look what go on you now. Same thing. Tim go away straight and nobody know until he done gone boy business. Same thing that do are we. Anyhow, we're gonna wrap up this about 11 o'clock. And again, look out for Sunday coming. It's going to be an exciting show. So I want everybody to tune in on Sunday. Remember again, our guests on Sunday will be Desi Brown, Julie Charles, and Dr. Garfield Alexander. We're going to be talking about post-COVID. Sorry. How do we get out of it? What we need to do differently? How can we reinvent ourselves? Our mindset, our mind, in terms of doing things differently to navigate what's happening. And we just recently got a notice this morning that it's going to be a rough couple of months ahead because the demand that the world is putting on goods and goods, they just ain't getting around because they say Corona got people not working, the restrictions. And so the ports and the boats, them can't move as freely. I got word from St. Thomas that some of these boat operators going to be charging more. So guess what? The price of goods going up. The price of goods going up. These restrictions that they're putting in place, mind you, they come from what? World Health Organization and FDA and all them white people there. Them that do good, you know. And in the meantime, we in the Caribbean catch our ass. You know, see what happened in Miami? Miami had the carnival up there. They put the infrastructure in place to deal with it. Mind you, whether you vax or you unvax, you could catch and you could transmit. Even people who from St. Kitts live in America was up there partying fully vax without mask. But they're telling us down here, don't fill them up. Keep them how they want. So America up there living their best lives. And we leaders down here like a set of puppets and puppy show. Following strict to these protocols. And in the meantime, they're holding on to dear life to keep things going and keep things in order. The cases them going up. The debts going up. And nothing to work out. Put the money into the infrastructure. Put a plan in place. Put people in place to manage this thing. We hear the complaints every day, you know. But these man ain't manage COVID properly. Not care what nobody say. You know, manage properly. When the borders were closed and nothing was going on, they pat themselves on the back. They give themselves star merits all around. Great job for keeping us safe in the midst of a pandemic. This is the pandemic, you know, because the case them rise every single damn day. But nobody come pat themselves on the back. No, they blame you. Oh, it's your behavior. Well, who do go out actively to seek out COVID? Or to catch a cold? Or to catch a flu for that matter? Nobody. But this is how they want to make you believe. Because of the words that they use. And I'm going to end here right now. When I said to those people, change the words, change the tone, change the message. Because you're going to create a problem down the road. I foresee it. And instead they say, you know what? Let me hear what Ika say. Partner, what is you there say? What going on with you? Make you go answer. What you seeing that we ain't seen? No. The puppy show them push back, start a campaign. Oh, Ika is anti-vax. Ika no wanna buy take the vaccine. Sounds so damn stupid. If me, Ika, they tell people don't take the vaccine, nobody will take it. Me not ask you, me tell you. But me never tell nobody don't take the vaccine. Never did. As a matter of fact, me do more encouraging than anything else. But just because I wasn't saying take the vaccine, no, I did it differently. Ask anybody who called me and asked me about this vaccine what I tell them. Partner, get as much information as you possibly can, for and against. Sift through it. Know what to disregard as bullshit and what to hold on to as facts. Have a conversation with your doctor first. Ask them, and then you make your decision. Me never tell nobody don't take it. So when these poppy shows popping up, oh, he can nobody study about don't take the vaccine. Me never tell nobody so. If me really go up on a campaign to tell people don't take the vaccine, nobody will take it. I don't mean to sound pompous and arrogant, but nobody will take it. But that was not my goal. And that was not my message. And people got my message. But it just goes to show you how these people around here operate. Instead of correcting what you were saying or what you observe to be going wrong, they put their energies into silencing you and making people hate you. I can't make nobody hate me. Me, EK? How I get that to do? I start the food drive and they say, oh, it's political. What political gain me could get out? Me not a candidate. I was just home bored and fed up of hearing people complain and bawl that nobody look after them. And I said, well, man, got nothing better to do. And I push out. What political gain? Me can't even get a job right now. Because the police them harass all the bars them when me don't go boy. The people them in charge at the little festival them say no give him a work because you talk too much. So what political gain me get? It makes no sense. And in the meantime, while this shit going down the road, the leaders them out there campaigning for who going to be the next prime minister instead of dealing with the matters now. Man out there campaigning for next prime minister for 2025. But I think it's in a real place. Saying kids is not a real place. When I said so the first time, it works with me, you know, but I mean it. And now I see the kind of foolishness where I go on. This is the last piece of advice. You claim about how great Dr. Harris is. And mind you, I'm not diminishing him in any way. But this would have been my approach to this whole pandemic thing. I would have paid attention and I would have looked at the long haul. How all these protocols is going to affect my country, who is already at a disadvantage because most of our products are imported. How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect the most vulnerable in our community? Taking into consideration the medical fallout as well. And this is the route that I would have taken. You see the $120 million where Timothy Bosan say he give a stimulus package, the best and the biggest in the region and maybe in the world. Okay. I would have taken the 120 mil and I would have buttressed up my healthcare system. Oh here? I would have taken that 120 mil, kept my people working, because once people working, they're paying social security and they're paying taxes. And bills can be paid. So I would have never cut off my nose to spite my face. I would have invested in the healthcare system. Ventilators, medication, rooms, doctors, nurses. Put in place a proper shift system so I don't burn out my personnel. I would have even hired more people. Put them on standby. Begin some training. And put them on standby. So we either could have volunteer or we could pay them. And I would have been preparing my healthcare service to deal with any fallout from this COVID thing. In terms of the management of the quarantine and all these kind of things, a team would have been placed, an emergency center, 24-hour manned to deal with the reporting and the data collection of what is happening with COVID itself. so I could sift through the bullshit. I would have also put in place, move out the way now. I would have also put in place a communications team to disseminate the right information, the proper information, void of the political bullshit and all the semantics, so that people get the information that they need. That is how I would have dealt with it. Put things in place for proper reporting and data collection so we could sift through. So if somebody got a regular cold, we don't just chuck them in quarantine because we feel like it's corona. No. So cold and flu gone in? Oh my God, somebody's calling. They're not gone in. Why is somebody calling me? They're not gone in, I tell you. They're still there. And so, you have a situation where I would have dealt with this thing in a very precise and concise manner. Believe it or not. Yes, some people are professionals in their fields, but when it comes to effective communication, you need people who can do that. And their messaging was whack and out of sync. People went and took the vaccine because most people think it's a pro-vaccine. And most people will always do what is best for their health. It has nothing to do with their messaging. Not a thing. Because if people really follow to their messaging, nobody will take the vaccine there. And on top of that, people's jobs were being threatened. Nobody was sure what the economy was going to be like. And so people walk out by, watch here, let me not chance it and just keep me little walk and cut and go through. Oh, here. That's what happened out here. But try you sit down in your nice air conditioned office in your suit and tie. I know I'm going to people them. So that is how I would have handled it. And that is how we were trying to tell these people. But nobody listen. Everybody just like to fire back. Everybody just like to abuse and tear down anybody who has an alternative vibes. You understand? And all these advice, you're right. All these advice come from me for free. Because I love my country and I love my people. And I don't want to see my people them in any which way hurt. I want the best for them. I love when my country's first. You. Yes, I would like it to be the political party that I support, but if ain't them, so nothing supposed to be Usenkis and Nevis. So just because your political party ain't in power, nothing supposed to happen in Usenkis and Nevis to the people them. Well, if that's how you think, you need to check yourself, Rasta. EK and all your problem. But anyhow, so this person know that I am actually doing a live and they're still calling me? Wow. I ain't gonna come. I ain't gonna kind of conscience by lad. But anyhow, people, we're gonna wrap this thing up now. And it's just a little thing for you guys to ponder on when it comes to this whole leadership thing. I hope I put it in perspective properly. And if I didn't, I'll probably do a follow-up. So just let me know on the page or drop me an inbox or drop me an email. Let me show you what the email address is for Let's Get Real. See, Let's Get Real Now 21@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest, you can hit me up and drop me a line and let me know, you'd like to come on, you have an issue that you want to talk about. If you want to share some information with your fellow nationals, you can do that. Anybody who you would like to see on the show, you could tell me and we'll probably get them in. If you want to become a sponsor, if you want to donate to us, those are our advertising rates. You can check those out. You could email me if you want a copy of it so you can either pass it around or see. If you want to donate to us, our Cash App is Real Right EK. Capital R's, capital E's. If you have PayPal, is Real Right, lowercase EK, capital E. you must be able to find us. You can drop us a chat as well. Look for us. We're right there. And yeah, keep this show going. Keep these vibes going. It's just a different conversation, than what we are used to. We just keep it real. You understand? I don't know how else to be. So, folks, have yourself a great morning. And I'll see you 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to jam down the place on Freedom FM. Yeah, blessed love. Go have yourself some lunch now. Goodbye, people. Goodbye.